Yo, what's going on, everyone in the crypto world? Today I'm going to be discussing why you should buy XRP, even though you hate it. Now, I know a lot of people out there, they really, God, dude, I've seen some forums, people are like vicious towards Ripple. They freaking hate it, man. They're all Bitcoin, all decentralized applications that don't work with banks or government or financial institutions at all. So, we all know that. That's pretty obvious. But I'm going to talk about why you should still buy it even though you hate it. Because almost everybody in the United States uses a bank. It's a social and economic norm to use banks and financial institutions, credit unions, all that kind of thing. So I do believe that decentralized currencies, assets, and applications are going to replace banks in the future. But I mean, like, to completely replace banks, I mean, I'd see that maybe in the next 75 to 100 years. Because think of the ages about 40 plus, age 40 plus. These people are typically not very tech wizards like everyone below is, like my generation, the generation ahead of mine, the one before this one, and then the one before that one that's going to exist in the future. We're more technologically advanced and technologically minded than people 40 plus. And I bet from ages 40 up, take about 50 to 60% of the population, somewhere around there, maybe 35%, somewhere in that ballpark. But those people, they don't want to switch to this new techie, cryptocurrency. I mean, some do, but for all of them to want to switch to this, I don't think that's going to happen, which is why I think it's going to take decentralized currency and applications to replace banks a very long time, 75 to maybe 100 years, because a lot of people, they don't want to get away from this norm. It's like, well, we always use a bank. Why would I get away from a bank? We need banks. So it's going to take the older generations to, die off. I mean, it sounds very vicious and all that, but I mean, once they die off and they don't exist anymore, now we have pretty much all people that have grown up in a technological space and have grown up with digital platforms, digital systems, all that kind of stuff. So the true replacement for banks, where banks cease to exist, that, I mean, I think it's inevitable to happen, but it's going to take a substantially long time. Probably won't even happen in my lifetime. So banks, they will cease to exist at some point in the future, but in the short term, talking like 15, 20 years, I think there's going to be a good chunk of people that get away from banks and go towards cryptocurrency, but it's not going to be like a complete norm towards everybody using cryptocurrency, although I do think that's going to happen. So my point with that is, banks, they're not going to go away anytime soon. They're going to be here due to the reasons I just stated. So Ripple is targeting a really huge market that's going to stay around for a long time. And banks, all the high up guys, they know about crypto by now, reaching almost $250 billion in market value. They do know about cryptocurrency, and this is why you see big politicians, big investors like Mark Cuban, Warren Buffett, big name, a lot of people with political influence, they all talk down on Bitcoin. They fear Bitcoin because it gets rid of them. You don't need them. You don't need a bank or government to even function on Bitcoin. If the government really tried to get rid of Bitcoin, they would not be able to do it. It is so decentralized through many different miners and computers and all that. It's not gonna. They can't shut it down. It can't be controlled by any government. Even if a communist monarch threw over the United States, they would not get rid of Bitcoin. They'd try to restrict it and get rid of as many exchanges as possible, but it would truly never happen. Which is why government and banks, they fear Bitcoin. And with its rapid pace that it's growing at, these banks are going to need something to kind of compete with that. And this is where Ripple comes into play. So once people find out that cryptocurrency is so fast, so much cheaper than banks, that banks are going to need something to compete against this. And this is where Ripple is going to come into play, and Ripple will delay the complete extinction of banks. So by using Ripple, they take transactions, make them 4 to 8 seconds, cut down costs by 60%, have clear, visible payments, better customer satisfaction. Ripple gives, Ripple gives banks something to a new form of competition against the cryptocurrency that is completely against banks, which is why I can't even fathom how much I think it's going to thrive. Because banks fearing Bitcoin, it's why they're going to flock to Ripple, because this old system has no competition to Bitcoin at all. So if they implement this new system that's even faster and cheaper than Bitcoin, this gives banks a step ahead of Bitcoin, saying, yeah, so you're still decentralized, you can get away from banks, but you're still slower, you're still more expensive, and you still have counterparty risk. Wait, no, forget I said that. It doesn't have counterparty risk, but it gives the banks like a step ahead, a little edge over Bitcoin, because it's having a system that's faster, more reliable, and more cost-effective than Bitcoin. So Ripple really gives banks a stronghold, sort of a how do I explain it? Sort of a defense against Bitcoin. So I just wanted to end it with that. If banks have a system that's even faster than Bitcoin, that gives them more of an surety that they won't be replaced by it. So even for all you out there that hate XRP, yes, I hate banks too. I'm only 17, but I have had an experience where I lost $700 in a bank because I don't even want to go into that. I had it in a savings account, gone in a month, completely just wiped. My account was wiped. I hate banks. But you have to see the whole population that uses it, and that it's not going to go away for some quite a time. And Ripple will give banks that edge over Bitcoin, which will drive banks to use Ripple because they fear Bitcoin. They truly fear Bitcoin because Bitcoin will cut them out of the equation. They don't want to be cut out of the equation. That's where they're going to lose the entire market. So please, even if you hate XRP, even if you hate Ripple, even if you hate what it stands for, I would still suggest to buy it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and stay investing, stay trading crypto, because that is the future. Thank you.